That about the J6 people too, though, right? That's what they're going to say on the other side. That is weaponized also.
I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the New York trial, and now the Democrats on our side there were some that were gleeful, calling it like now he's a convicted felon and those things, and now for our party we were talking about criminal justice, and we are now talking about second chances, and now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trials, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was politically motivated, and those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could realize that they could weaponize.
Welcome back to All-Star Buzz. We're glad you're here because today's story might just shake things up in unexpected ways. Buckle up, because this one takes us right into the middle of politics, television, and the courts. You've likely heard of John Fetterman, the Democratic senator from Pennsylvania, known for his outspoken stances on fairness, equality, and protecting those often left out of the conversation. Fetterman has never been shy about challenging the system, but here's the twist. He's now at the center of a legal showdown that's stirring more than just whispers. Yes, you read that correctly. Fetterman has filed a lawsuit, and according to Sunny Hostin, co-host of The View and the show's producers, this isn't some throwaway tabloid feud. It's a legal matter with very real consequences. What happened that pushed things this far? On what was supposed to be a regular taping, lively discussion, sharp commentary, and a touch of humor, the tone shifted. Fetterman, who has long promised to speak out when lines are crossed, wasn't willing to let a certain exchange slide. While the exact details of the remarks remain unclear, the fallout has already escalated into a major courtroom battle. This isn't just about bruised egos. At its core, the dispute highlights questions about free speech, public responsibility, and whether shows like The View can balance fiery debates with respect for individuals' reputations. For Sunny Hostin, who has faced her own share of controversy, the stakes are personal. For the producers, the lawsuit could shine a spotlight on how far media outlets must go to ensure fairness in what they broadcast. Why should you care? Because the case goes beyond Fetterman and Hostin. It speaks to larger issues of media accountability, the influence of high-profile voices, and the fine line between spirited conversation and damaging claims. And that's why this story matters far outside the studio walls.
His son, after all, and people do have sympathy for that. But a lot of people are angry with him about it. What do you say?
Oh, well, I think it's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate, and I really think collectively, America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases. And we cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents. And it's very clear both trials were politically motivated and weaponized that on the other.
Stories like this underscore just how vital honesty, transparency, and accountability are. Principles that often sound easier to embrace than they are to uphold. At a time when public trust in the media feels shakier than ever, the unfolding lawsuit is certain to remain in the spotlight. Whether you're a supporter of Fetterman, a loyal fan of The View, or simply fascinated by the crossroads of politics and pop culture, this is a chapter worth following closely. From Fetterman's perspective, the responsibility falls squarely on the producers. He argues they should have shown more care, more restraint, and ultimately more accountability when handling remarks that carried potential weight. In his view, their failure to do so points to a deeper issue with how major outlets present sensitive or contentious stories. To him, this isn't just about his own experience, it's about drawing a line. Fetterman insists that words matter, especially in a media landscape where misinformation can spread in seconds and shape public opinion before facts even settle. Now, stepping back to Sunny Hostin, her boldness and willingness to stir the pot have long set her apart on The View. Controversy has practically become part of her signature style, and while that has kept audiences engaged, it has also brought her into the center of disputes like this one.
In a new Netflix documentary series about New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, he said he's heartbroken about friends and family cutting him off for his controversial political views and conspiracy theories. And a lot of Americans can relate to this, especially after this last election. So, Do you think it happens everywhere?
What I recall about him is when he was asked about the COVID-19 pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, when people had lost loved ones, when people's family members were missing from their Thanksgiving table, like my table, he said, "I'm immunized." And as it turns out, he was not. He had done his own research. He has his Google MD like I do. And I think he said he was allergic to something in the vaccine, but he had COVID and he was in a huddle with his teammates. And I think people felt like, wow, you don't care. You're not your brother's keeper.
This could really, this
That's
could really
what I
turn
think it
me
was
against
a morality.
Over the years, Sunny Hostin's unapologetic style has earned her both loyal supporters and sharp critics. Her willingness to speak bluntly is part of what defines her on The View, but in this instance, her candor may have crossed a line. At the heart of the legal battle is a critical question. Was her statement simply an expression of opinion, or did it veer into the territory of defamation? This isn't just a minor spat or misunderstanding, it's a matter that will be decided in court. And beyond the courtroom drama lies an even larger debate. Should high-profile figures with vast audience be able to say whatever they want without facing the consequences of their words? Fetterman's lawsuit makes it clear. This isn't just about one comment or a single television episode. It's about holding media accountable in an age where false or damaging claims can ripple across the internet within moments, shaping narratives before the truth has a chance to catch up. That brings us to the bigger picture. This case highlights the fragile balance between two core democratic values: the right to free expression and the need to protect individuals from reputational harm. Free speech is vital. It keeps public dialogue dynamic, challenges authority, and fuels progress. But when words inflict real damage, accountability is just as vital. Without it, trust in both media and public discourse risks eroding even further. This tension becomes even more pronounced in a society where one statement can be magnified instantly, spreading misinformation that lingers long after the moment has passed. That's exactly what Fetterman's case forced us to confront: the difficulty of protecting free expression while recognizing the very real consequences words can carry. In today's world of rapid communication and viral content, a single remark broadcast to millions isn't just noise. It can alter perceptions, damage reputations, and even redirect the course of someone's career, which raises the obvious questions. What really happened with the remark directed at John Fetterman? Was it simply blown out of proportion? Is Fetterman trying to reclaim control of his image? Or does this case reveal a deeper problem about the way our media ecosystem operates? At its core, this is not just about one heated moment on a talk show. It's about how political leaders are portrayed, how they respond when they feel their credibility is threatened, and how far media outlets can go in shaping public opinion. The influence of television and online commentary extends well beyond a single broadcast or viral clip. It has the power to shift careers, sway elections, and erode public trust. As the lawsuit moves forward, the stakes are clear. If Fetterman's claims hold, it could reshape the way high-profile figures are covered and demand stricter accountability from networks. If not, it may be remembered as just another high-profile feud that flared up and faded away. Legal analysts already suggest this case could set a precedent, altering the boundaries of media responsibility in the years to come. The case unfolding around FMAN is more than just another lawsuit. It represents a test of accountability in an era where media platforms can shape narratives instantly and at massive scale. If successful, FMAN's legal challenge could establish precedents that redefine what counts as reckless reporting versus protected speech, a distinction that has become increasingly blurred. On one side, advocates argue that the media must be held to higher standards because misinformation, sensationalism, or careless framing can permanently damage reputations and influence political outcomes. On the other, defenders of the press warn that allowing lawsuits to dictate media behavior could chill free expression, leading outlets to self-censor for fear of litigation. This tension between responsibility and liberty lies at the heart of the matter. Beyond the courtroom, the case raises questions about public trust. Citizens are already skeptical of both political figures and the media, and this clash may either restore confidence in accountability or deepen cynicism about power struggles disguised as justice. Even if FMAN does not win, the trial itself forces us to confront uncomfortable realities about how truth is mediated in a polarized society. Is this an overdue correction to a reckless media culture, or a dangerous flirtation with silencing watchdogs? Whichever side one lands on, The ripple effects are undeniable. The outcome could shape not just journalistic practices, but also the expectations we as a society bring to public discourse. That is why this case is not just about FMAN, but about whether our information ecosystem evolves toward greater responsibility or greater restriction.